Which way do I go? I decided to go for a run. It was the early morning, and I came out my house, and I could turn right or I could turn left. If I turned right, I'd be going downhill. It would be a nice downhill run. If I turned left, it would be uphill. And I wasn't feeling that great. And I thought, maybe I should take the easier way. But the interesting thing is that what is easy initially will be hard afterwards. Why? If I took the easy route, if I turned right and went downhill, when I turned round to come back, it would be more difficult. And in fact, it would be a lot more difficult because I'd be coming back when I'm already tired. If I did it the other way around, if I turned left and I did the hard route, when I turned round, it would be easier when I'm coming down, and maybe that's when I want it to be easier, because that's when I'm more tired. How often do we make the choice with short-term thinking? Strategic thinking means long-term thinking. Do we make our decisions strategically, or do we make them impulsively? A nice little story that relates to this was many years ago I ran the Comrades Marathon, which is 90 kilometers long. And when you run the Comrades Marathon, you're crazy enough to run training runs that are beyond marathons. And there was a race called Omdi Dam, 50-kilometer race. And I did it in training. And I started running on this race. And as you can see over here, kind of like 3/4 of the way through the race, I started running up a very steep hill. You can see it there in the picture circled. And as I was running it up, I was quite tired already, and I was looking down, and I was just plodding along and plodding along. At some stage I thought, I can't do this. It's way into the race. I've done about close to 40 kilometers, and I'm exhausted. And as I thought I was going to stop, I looked up and realized I was so close to the top of that hill that I pushed a little bit further. And as I got over the top of that hill, it became so much easier. And it made me think, like, how many times in my life have I been at a point where it just gets so difficult that I want to stop? It gets to a point where I just want to give up. In this race, I could see where the top of the hill is. In life, we don't always know where that top of the hill is. We don't know when we're going to crest the top and go down, and then it becomes a lot more comfortable, a lot easier. So it's worth thinking when you're about to give up. Is it getting harder because I'm getting close to breaking through? And related to that is one last story. There's a story of a guy who walks down a garden path and he sees a butterfly coming out the cocoon. And he watches in fascination with this butterfly struggling to come out of the cocoon. And it's taking a long time. And he has a look and he sees this one little thread that's stopping this butterfly from coming out the cocoon. So with his little finger, he just breaks off that little thread. And the butterfly comes out, lands on the ground, starts flapping its wings around, looks like it's not doing anything, and he walks away. What he didn't know is that butterfly has to struggle itself to break that thread. Only when its wings are strong enough to break that thread are its wings strong enough to fly. The struggle that we think is difficult is that exact struggle that makes us stronger and allows us to cope. Besides coming out of the cocoon, the butterfly then has to hang upside down for a while for the wings to dry out before it can fly. It's exhausted from the struggle of breaking through, and then it still has to hang around for its wings to dry. And we look at this, and for us it might be an hour or two. For the butterfly, that hour or two is a huge portion of its life. A butterfly on average only lives for 7 days. So it takes a long time to prepare, to struggle, and then you can fly. And maybe that's the lesson we should take from the butterfly. I'm David Zidel, and these are just some of the random thoughts of a business school lecturer. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button below.